now play
That
April
was Easter
showers.
parade.
I know.
You were thinking back. We missed a show for Easter, so you're throwing
Yeah,
in
I'm
your
throwing
Easter
that
show.
in. Well, April showers.
Well, folks, we're back. This is the Fun Show. This is April 24th. We missed a couple of weeks due to Easter and the marathon, and the irony is that we can't do our show on Marathon Monday because we can't make it from North Brookline, where we live, to Central Brookline, where the studio is,
And,
on Marathon Day.
And Simmons wouldn't hire a helicopter, so we couldn't get here. What the heck are we going to
Well,
do?
next year we're going to hang on a drone and come in. We'll be all set. In any case, I'm Arch O'Reilly. Behind the Kira keyboard is Michael Sallin, our major factotum here, who's finding a tune there somewhere.
Well, there got to be a better tune than that. I don't like that. No.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that next week there's a very important town election. And the most important part of this town election is the school committee race. Last year, I was terribly upset because there was no school committee race. We had 3 seats and 3 candidates. Of course, we had no contest for anything in town last year, but it is absolutely critical that we start to take back the Brookline School Committee and return Brookline to the town that it used to be, that made its reputation, that genuinely cared for the students and the teachers and the education of Brookline. And that is not the case with the current school committee. The people who are urging you to vote for the status quo, to vote for all the incumbents, either don't recognize or won't admit that we have a serious crisis in this town. The school committee is out of control. The school administration is out of control. They won't stand up and fight for Brookline values. They won't stand up and fight for Brookline teachers, to give teachers the opportunity to do what they've always done best, and that's educate our students. So it's very, very critical that we start to make a changeover. And we start to make that changeover by voting for Suzanne Federspiel and Paul Harris for school committee. Now, you have the opportunity to vote for 3 candidates for school committee. I personally urge you not to vote for 3 candidates for school committee because the other 2 candidates appear to be wedded to corporate education. They're more interested in how much money corporations can make by taking over American education than they are interested in the education of Brookline students. However, if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to come out of a polling place without using one of your votes, if you really have to vote for 3, vote for Mike Glover for the 3rd seat.
Okay.
But I strongly ask you, first of all, to remember to vote. It's probably been 40 years in this town since there's been an election that was quite as important as this one. Vote for Suzanne Federspiel and Paul Harris and start to reclaim Brookline education. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, it's really important. It's really important. When I started the Brookline Educational Foundation, our thing was to support the teachers because we knew the most important thing we had in this town was our teachers.
Right.
And the teachers and the administration and the school committee were always on the same page. For 30, well, probably for many more than 30 years. All these people were on the same page. We had one of the best education systems in the country, certainly within the state. And now they're like this. They're totally at loggerheads. And our school committee is currently controlled by people who take big money from corporate education. In other words, the people who produce and sell all those needless tests, all that information gathering. Our teachers spend more time collecting data points than they do teaching children. And our school committee is making, I understand that one member of our school committee last year or the year before made $300,000 from these people. So we got to get rid of the school committee we have and start building a school committee that cares for Brookline students.
Well, they had an election in France. What do you think of that election?
Well, they had a primary election in France that ended up quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because none of the major historical parties in France are in the runoff.
That's
which is interesting. And we have
sounds a little familiar.
Ms. Le Pen, who's actually been around for a long time.
Yes, she has. Her father was a good man. Yeah.
She's been running for premier of France. Is it premier? Which is it, premier or president? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway,
that's a good question.
It's the job de Gaulle was not, but whatever. But she's been running since before Donald Trump was on TV. But now she's changed all of her rhetoric now to mimic Donald Trump. You listen to her, and it sounds like some woman with a French accent reading Donald Trump's speeches.
She's a populist.
However, she's in the final.
Yeah.
And
the other guy, Emmanuel Macron.
Macron or something.
M-A-C-R-O-N, Macron.
Yeah, but I don't think you pronounce the N.
Macron.
Macron.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but
he's a centrist.
But here's the thing: he's actually sort of started a new party, more or less, and he's polling at 60% now. So fortunately, it looks like France is not going to go down the tubes that the United States and Britain and stuff went down.
That was pretty good.
So good for France. Although Le Pen got 1 million more votes than she's ever gotten before.
Right.
So the plague of nationalism is certainly not past. It's still around.
Still around.
So we'll see.
Okay.
On a personal note, I wanted to say how thrilled and delighted I am that Michael, no, is that his name? O'Reilly? What's O'Reilly's name? What's his first name? Who?
O'Reilly's first name. That's right.
Yeah, that Fox guy.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I've forgotten his first name already.
Well, he's gone anyway.
He's gone, and I'm so delighted that he's gone.
He took a mountain of money with him.
Yes, he got an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember him when he was a local columnist here in Boston, writing imaginary lies.
Well, you know, he went to BU.
Yeah. So did Howard Stern.
Okay. Well, anyways, he's gone, and he took a boat.
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
No relation, folks. No relation at all.
No, he isn't. Okay. And I read this story that you might like. It's about special operation forces. They can terminate terrorists, but they can't win wars. That's a big article in the paper today.
Terminate with extreme prejudices.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but they don't. And all these presidents, FDR, JFK, Carter, Clinton, Bush, and Obama, now Trump, they're all persuaded to use these special ops forces, to use them only because of all that technical skill they have, but they don't. You know, I don't know what the answer is.
Well, by definition, they're small force units, and you know, small force units can create havoc, but you can't exactly take and hold Mosul with a SEAL team.
Yeah,
you know?
25, 30 people. Yeah, guys. And the unrealistic expectations. I mean, Trump got whacked with that. He was at that party dinner with his friends in the golf club that he owns. You know,
right. Which costs us $3 million every time he goes there.
Yeah, but it cost us the life of a.
You know, he has already spent 25% of his presidency on the golf course.
Well, that's
25% of his presidency.
Sounds constructive to me.
I mean, on the day this was quoted, he'd been president, I think, for 89 days, and he'd spent 25 days playing golf.
Well, that's, you think he's any good?
And who knows? But
I don't know. I hate golf.
But as some late night person went, don't complain. Good. I want him off the job as much as humanly possible. Yeah.
Are there alligators or crocodiles down there in that area where the?
I'm sure there must be.
Yeah. Is any chance?
You can hope for one, right?
Well, you never know. They seem to show up.
Do you think they have a special cadre of Secret Service crocodile hunters?
Anyways, this guy who
recruited from the Swamp People show on reality TV.
He wrote a book. The one who wrote this column in the New York Times, and the name of the book is "Oppose Any Foe." I thought it was a nice name. Oppose Any Foe. Okay, Mark Moyer, give him a little plug.
Isn't that part of the presidential oath?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think that's where it's lifted from.
Okay, I won't. I was going to ask you about this one, but I don't know if it's. I don't think I want to put it on the air tonight. But Arkansas executives, they continue to the executions. You know, they're supposed to do
you're not
6
talking
of them.
Business executives, you're talking state leadership.
Yes, and now.
And you know why they're trying to do 8 executions in like 5 days? Because their lethal injection drug is about to expire.
I read about it. Okay, now there was
Which hardly seems like a very good motivation.
Shouldn't there be? It said this piece. Shouldn't there be doctors present at these executions?
I would assume there are. There's not?
There aren't, and the AMA says they're totally opposed to them participating in any way in that execution. They're opposed to it.
Okay, so
they didn't say they were against executions.
Well, of course that's what they mean.
I don't know. I can't answer that. We were talking about this guy.
Another legal subject is this.
What?
This baby mama of Hernandez.
Oh yeah.
Who seems to be suing everybody in sight at the moment, and she appears to have big dollar signs in her eyes. She wants to go against the state, the prison, the patriots, etc. Why is this young woman not in jail? No, literally.
Well, she was.
It's very clear that she engaged in obstruction of justice, the destruction of evidence.
Complicit, would you say?
Complicit, yes. Why is she not in jail? I want to see her in jail.
Maybe she's going out with one of the prosecutors. I don't know. I can't answer.
That's even worse than what I might have suggested.
I like her. Oh, I don't know. Anyways,
why is it that these big, tough, cold-blooded killers, like the guy who shot the people person on Facebook and stuff, why is when push comes to shove, they're always so cowardly that they whack themselves?
Well, he did. He didn't. But
I mean, they all are so many of them seem to be.
He was crying at the end of that trial when
stone cold cowards.
Yeah, but he was crying when they acquitted him.
Yeah.
How could they acquit him?
I don't know. He was crying over the demise of the justice system.
Maybe that because then he went back to that hole he was living in.
Hey,
and he hung himself out to dry. What?
We call that an OJ verdict.
An OJ verdict. That sounds good. Okay. Now, another pleasant subject was that fella Friedland, who was involved with the scandal on the what is it? The name of that show?
Oh, Free Men. $64,000 question.
Okay.
Albert Friedman.
Yeah.
There we are, folks. We do our research. He was the producer who produced the
95?
$64,000 challenge, made a huge national celebrity.
Nobody went to jail for any of this.
Out of Charles Van Doren.
Yeah, poor guy.
Who was a, where was Columbia University,
he was
right?
a part-time instructor there.
And
his father.
It finally came out that they were giving him the answers to make a hero of him, and it was a big thing. And they even made a movie about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch that movie.
But here's my interesting tie into this. I had a friend. My first ever television experience was on KETZ in St. Louis, Missouri. We had a kids show, and I carried cable and appeared in one thing and another in the old days. And the star of the show was a guy named Sonny Fox.
Yeah.
Well, Sonny Fox was hired to be the host of the $64,000 challenge, which was a spin-off where they brought back popular contestants from the question. And he moved from St. Louis to New York to take this job. And my friends and I, we all sat down at the TV to watch it. And we watched it. And the first show, they called him by a different name because some union member had his name. Second show, without saying a thing, they called him by his real name. Third show went pretty normal. Fourth show, some other guy was the guest. Was the host. And what I later discovered from Sonny was between the second and the fourth show, he discovered they were giving these people the answers.
Oh.
And being a man of integrity, he quit. And there's a nice moral to this story, because Sonny eventually ended up being president of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences.
A perfect ending.
Yes, yes. Freeman, yeah.
He went on and he got a doctorate in some arcane subject down there at the bottom. You'll find it down there. And he had a checkered career, but the point is, nobody in all of this went to jail.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, when you come right down to it, they didn't break any laws.
No, they wasn't giving answers for money. I mean, I didn't steal anything.
It wasn't, it wasn't public money. They were offering it. Nobody broke any laws.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
All right. I mean, the thing is, unethical things are not always illegal. This is Donald Trump's last great hope. Of course, he thinks he's immune from everything. Somebody's got to explain the presidency to him at some point, because he thinks that being president means he's immune to every law in the land. Sorry, Donnie, that's not true.
He's better than any law in the land. He's smarter.
I'm bigger than it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big TV Unrehearsed Thespian Society's performance for this evening, which comes out of the vault, not terribly deep in the vault, and is entitled Plum, speaking of some degree of political corruption, and on the hopeful end of it. Action.
Action?
Action.
How do I get one of these plum jobs?
What, making fruit salad?
You mean no heavy lifting?
Well, I suppose you're entitled to decide.
It wouldn't require much.
Nope, you just show up.
How about no show?
Well, that's even better, but a bit dicey.
That depends.
But you have a good position now.
Twice as much is nicer, though.
Yeah, especially if you only have to work at one.
That's more like it.
So, how do you start?
First, call your state legislator.
Who's she?
Or she?
Oh. I see.
Who's
you
he?
mean the local rep.
Okay, we're not talking about your school truant officer here. The retired speaker left 11 assistants behind.
Oh, get off it. That was last December.
What were they all doing all this time?
Nobody knows.
Right up your alley.
Well, there's so many state agencies.
With fictitious jobs.
And those are called plums.
I think he's getting the idea.
But you got to be persistent, my friend.
Not just persevering.
Make a pest of yourself.
I don't know.
And bring lots of gifts.
Donuts and coffee?
How about bagels and cheese?
Contributions help.
You got to stay in the guy's face.
Become a gopher.
An animal?
Don't be stupid.
So I'm a little naive.
When the Paul needs something.
I got it. Go for it.
Now I get it.
You become an executive administrative assistant to the deputy commissioner of the undersecretary's chairperson.
But what do I do?
You do public relations.
Deliver press releases to the press?
Why not?
Because you told me to do it?
But to whom?
Media, you know, the reporters maybe?
Yeah, and then you buy them coffee and...
Who pays?
You. Just do it.
You're on the payroll.
And if he needs his pants pressed, ditto.
I wouldn't like that job. Nah.
But it's a cinch.
I'm a lousy writer.
It's all right. We'll teach you.
Never liked books. Too many words.
Come on. You went to college.
Dropped out.
Well, that's perfect for a plum job.
I'm not smart enough.
Exactly. Why? You'd be hired.
You're no risk to anybody.
Just don't think about it.
You just do what you're told.
You should like the sound of that.
Maybe recreation would appeal to me.
What's that?
State parks, beaches, ice rinks, you know.
Are they local?
Might have to drive a little.
That's all right. Get yourself a small car.
How'd I find all these places?
They'll give you directions. They'll give you a map.
Always hated geography.
Well, your immediate supervisor might help.
He probably wouldn't know either.
I know. Get a GPS.
A what?
Oh, ask a statey.
Nah, too much traveling.
Okay. How about the corrections department? You know, prisons?
The courthouse, that would be nice.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's a really big plum.
Only for a member of the family?
Huh?
Huh? A brother, sister, niece, uncle, wife?
Oh, I see. Like close friends.
Yeah, but relatives.
Understood.
You can't get discouraged, is that it?
Don't worry. We'll find the right spot for you.
A member of a commission, a trustee.
No, that's not you.
Wait, I could be a greeter.
Sure. Answering the phone.
No, the office secretary does that.
How about transportation specialist?
Like buses and trains?
No, like roads and rails, please.
What about bridges?
No, too dangerous.
Not much climbing involved, huh?
Yeah, but they keep collapsing around here.
Oh, safety first.
Vacancy on the parole board.
Not good with criminals.
Well, I hate to say it.
There's got to be something.
The deputy assistant for scheduling would know.
Something with external affairs.
You could handle it.
Everything that happens in his district.
Evictions, schools, weddings, funerals, clinics, potholes.
Pretty busy, huh?
You have to empathize.
Go to wakes, even.
Well, the senator can't be everywhere.
I cry. I get a little emotional.
You could manage.
Sure. How can the counselor help?
No hot water at home.
I could fix that.
Careful. Remember the union rules. Call a plumber.
No hands-on stuff. You're a staff member now.
It's not my style, I guess.
Prefers the private sector, huh?
I was wrong.
Politics isn't easy, you know.
Well, there's this baker I know.
Thanks, but I'll be just great.
We were just trying to help.
And I appreciate it.
Do you know anything about transponders?
Never heard of them.
It's the digital stuff for the car.
You stick it on the windshield. Is that it?
And it could block your driving vision.
It gets through the fast lane on the toll road?
Yeah, you don't have to wait in line to pay.
That's the beauty of it. I think I'd like that. It's free, huh?
How do you get one?
How'd you like to give them out?
All right.
Okay.
Blackout.
Blackout.
So that was it for today.
Okay.
While I was on the subject of school committees and the importance of education,
You told me a lot about that.
we got this woman named Betsy DeVos.
Oh, she knows a lot about education.
She knows a lot about destroying American education.
Is it Michigan?
And on top of everything else, now she wants to eliminate the restraints on loan servicing companies so that they can continue to cheat people. There's a very limiting, very minimal law that says a school cannot get more than 90% of its revenue from federal financial aid. She thinks that can be done away with.
Yeah, we got to do away with that. That's terrible.
And so there's all these, companies that they actually were giving kickbacks to the servicing companies so that they could continue to write loans that they clearly knew the kids would never be able to pay back.
No.
It was good for the schools. It was good for the loan companies. It was terrible
for the students.
For the students who are out there with these huge
debts,
student loan debts, and they got, in reality, nothing for it. I mean, one of the famous cases of that is the infamous Trump University, right?
But he paid money to get out of that. He paid $25 million or something. Anyways,
which is probably nowhere near enough.
Okay. But the Republicans seek to bar release of the details of nearly 300,000 complaints Americans filed last year about dealing with financial service firms.
Yep, another thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they want to kill off. They want to kill off Elizabeth's controls on on Wall Street. They just want their billionaire buddies to be able to loot and rob unrestrained. That's the only thing, apparently, that they really care about. No matter what they said in the campaign, they're doing nothing about nothing except taking the shackles off the robber barons. I mean, it's like John D. Rockefeller
is
president
business,
of the United States.
You know, business is business.
The business of a business is business.
That's Cal Coolidge
What's
said
good for
like
General
that.
Motors is good for the USA.
Right, the USA.
Or as Al Cap said, what's good for General Bull Moose is good for the USA.
Okay.
And there's people who believe that, you know?
Yeah, I do. I believe most of that, you know. I've been making a lot of money out of that routine, yeah. I got stacks of it there. Venezuelan money, I've been exchanging it with them. Our money, I get about 12 million.
You've been buying heating oil?
Bolivars. I get bolivars.
Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Is that what the currency?
I think that's what it's called, a bolivar.
Simon Bolivar?
Yeah, you can sing that song almost, yeah. And they're rioting in the streets, and they're killing this guy Maduro.
Do they take that at your local Citgo station?
Well, it's with green stamps.
With green stamps.
Yes,
Remember green stamps?
Yes, I like green stamps.
Half the people out there have no idea what we're talking about when we say green stamps.
And Rachel Maddow's show beat Tucker Carlson's show on Fox News for the last 2 weeks.
Well, there was one Fox News person who got a promotion. One of the anchors of Fox and Friends.
Yeah, Jake Tapper?
No, a woman. Donnie's favorite show on television, Fox and Friends, is now the spokesperson for the State Department. He's almost 100 days in, and he's finally getting a spokesperson for the State Department.
Well, you got to have somebody.
But who's they going to speak for? Apparently, he has his son-in-law doing his diplomacy.
They got to, in case you don't know it, before the end of the program here, they have a program called it's The Mystery of Einstein. Anyways, National Geographic series is named Genius, and that's how you can find out about Einstein. That National Geographic, it's coming.
Really?
And we missed Earth Day and the March for Science. We missed that.
Oh, okay. No, it's a TV show, right?
No, that was they actually did these things, I think.
No, Genius is a TV show about Einstein.
Yeah, it's a TV show, but the Earth Day and the March for Science, that was different.
Okay,
that was the 22nd.
Wasn't this past weekend Earth Day?
Yes, that's
the March for Science. Yes, that apparently went off.
Science isn't silence.
There was some scientists who thought it was a bad idea, that it was only going to make the troglodytes more angry with them. You know?
Check.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody, from the Fun Show here at Big TV.
And there it is.
Thank you, sir.
Another great show.
Another great show.
Right.